The Atlanta Braves dropped the series finale to the San Diego Padres 5-3, meaning they are now 8-1 in their last 9 games against the San Diego Padres. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. I'm the author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. And I want to break down this 5-3 loss by Atlanta to the San Diego Padres because, one, what happened in this game and then what happened in the series, but also kind of the bigger picture of this Atlanta Braves team and how they've done against some of the top teams in the National League. Because it is very clear that this is not the same caliber of team as the Padres, as the Dodgers, as some of the contenders by the way that they challenge opposing pitching staffs, by what the offense is able to do. But first, let's get into actually what happened in this one, because what's frustrating is there's a lot of things that didn't go right for Atlanta today, and it's very hard to pin them all on one specific person, right? Like there's times where we can say, this is why you lost. It is hard in this situation to pin this on one player. This was really a team loss today. Atlanta goes up 3-1 after the 5th inning. They give up 2 runs in the 6th, another run in the 7th, another run in the 8th. A couple of those come off of home runs. And the frustrating thing here is some of those home runs were just taking advantage of a bad pitch, right? Manny Machado homers off of Dylan Lee, and that is a 93 mile an hour fastball at the letters in the center of the plate. That is, yes, Manny Machado is going to hit that ball for a home run, 40 times out of 50, right? 80 times out of 100, whatever. But some of these were a little bit different, right? The Jake Cronenworth home run off of Spencer Schwellenbach. It's a slider that he hung. We knew going into this game, the Padres were very good with sliders. You kind of have to wonder why they went to the slider as often as they did in some of these situations. He hangs the slider in the zone. Jake Cronenworth does not miss it, and it gets launched. He threw 16 sliders in this one, only got 2 whiffs on it, and 1 called strike. Really was an odd usage there. But I do want to give some credit here. And I am so glad this guy is out of town now. Gavin Sheets has absolutely destroyed the Braves this year. And the home run that he hits in the top of the 6th inning was just so absurdly not fair to Spencer Schwellenbach. That is a situation where, one, Austin Riley has an error that extends the inning. That is Austin Riley's 5th error in the last 2 weeks or 15 games or whatever it may have been. So his exceptional defense we saw early in the year has backed up a little bit. But then Spencer Schwellenbach gets ahead 0-2, and he throws a slider both down and in. It's not like it's below the zone. It's inside the edge of the zone. And Gavin Sheets launches it for a home run. I see Mass Boost in the comments here saying it was lucky. I'm going to disagree and say it was a very good piece of hitting. I went and looked going into today, right on left sliders in attack zone 14. So down and in like that to a lefty. There have been 2,581 sliders thrown in that situation this year. This was only the 3rd home run on the pitch. And this home run was both farther inside and lower than the other 2. I mean, even if you're looking for that specific pitch, it is just so incredibly hard to hit that. Sliders on that down and in from a righty to a lefty this season. 0.72 batting average, 103 slug. It's just terrible. Like, it is terrible luck for Spencer Schwellenbach that the guy that he threw it to is the guy that happened to be able to hit it. But that's not the reason. Like, you can't blame any of these one things on the loss. This was a team loss. This was a situation. You had 7 hits. You had, I think it was 3 extra base hits. Ozzie Albies had 2. Ronald Acuna Jr. had 1. But you had a defensive error. You did not attempt any stolen bases. I think we kind of need to understand that this version of Ronald Acuna Jr. is not going to be running as much. And unlike the Padres, a lot of Atlanta's at-bats felt like they were over rather quickly. The Jake Cronenworth home run was a 7-pitch at-bat where he fouled off, I believe he fouled off 2 or 3 different pitches. And there were some, 10-pitch at-bats in here. Atlanta's offense is not quite at the same level of being able to threaten an opposing pitching staff and keeping them on their heels the entire time they're in the game. You saw, they were able to get to Dylan Cease a little bit, but it wasn't consistent pressure. He was able to get out of it. Again, you only had 7 hits in this entire game. Drake Baldwin goes 0 for 4. There's no way to be mad at Drake Baldwin. He's been a phenomenal player. He had some good contact, just didn't work out today. But Michael Harris goes 0 for 3. And the Michael Harris strikeout, if you can think of a worse strikeout this year than the Michael Harris strikeout, please put it in the chat. Let me know the game if we can go find it. This strikeout was 4 pitches. All 4 of them were sliders that were so low the catcher had to block them. One of them was actually a slider in the dirt that bounced ahead of the plate. And the other 3 were all swinging strikes that the catcher had to block so that they didn't have a pass ball and let a runner score from third. Terrible at bat. None of the pitches looked like strikes on the way in. And just, he swung anyway. I don't really know what was going on with Michael Harris there. He was pressing, I guess, to get the run in, but just very, very frustrating. In just a second, let's talk about the pitching. Spencer Schwellenbach, had a very good strikeout game. We'll talk about that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there has never been a better time to get in on the action because FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game, both before tip-off and live. Player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. What players are showing up in the biggest moments? How could tracking their trends help you build the next bet? What would it look like if you could combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action's unfolding? Guess what? Head to FanDuel. It's the perfect time to sign up. FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. With Spencer Schwellenbach, I thought he did very, very well today with being able to mix in all of his pitches. I did criticize the slider usage a little bit more sliders than you wanted him to throw. He throws 101 pitches, kind of even between lefties and righties, 20 whiffs, and 11 of those on the four-seam fastball. When Spencer Schwellenbach has been dominant, it felt like he's mainly kind of focused on 1 or 2 pitches, and that's really kind of a Sean Murphy thing. Sean Murphy's been really, really good at finding a pitch that works and just running that over and over again. We saw Schwellenbach. He throws 39 fastballs today. CJ Nitkowski mentioned this on the broadcast, and I love that we have CJ on these broadcasts. He's much better as an analyst than like Jeff Francoeur is. Plus, I think CJ actually likes the players, which is always nice. But Schwellenbach's very, very good at being able to pick like mix up what he does from game to game and how he can vary the usage. The fastball was the star today, but 20 total whiffs, 37% CSW. Yes, he did give up 4 runs, but this is officially a quality start. There were only 2 earned runs because of the Riley error and 11 strikeouts with no walks. This is, to me, when you get Spencer Schwellenbach, I'm not going to say at his best, but when he's going for the strikeouts, this is what happens. It reminds me of Spencer Strider. He's in the zone so much, trusting his stuff to get whiffs, that if he leaves something in the wrong place, it's going to get hit for a home run. Whereas we've seen different versions of Spencer Schwellenbach this year where he is getting weak ground balls. You know, he's throwing, maybe instead of throwing as many fastballs, he's throwing a lot of splitters or cutters, trying to get guys to just be weak contact on these pitches. So all in all, can't be mad about what he did. He quite literally, according to the definition, gave you a quality start. There is an asterisk on there because of the Austin Riley error, but 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 11 strikeouts. But the big thing here now is I feel like we've seen this pattern over and over and over again now, where the Braves have been playing down to the talent level of some of their more inferior opponents, if you will, the Pirates, the Rockies, the White Sox last year, but they're not necessarily playing up to the quality of some of these winning teams that they've faced. If you look at their series this year, obviously now against San Diego, they've won 1 total game out of 7 against San Diego. But I mean, Miami, they split the series with Miami, but the Pirates, they lost that series. It is good that they beat the Twins. The Twins didn't really get on their hot streak until after this. But the frustrating thing here is that really the Braves have not yet hit the form of a team that's going to be a postseason team. They really have not shown that, yeah, like we have the talent. Yes, the Braves have the pitching when it's on. They have the hitting when it's on. But there's too many times when either one or both of them have not been on at the same time, and they've not stepped up in that moment. They've not stepped up. I mean, they go into Tampa, into a minor league ballpark, and they lose 2 out of 3. And I don't think they had very many home runs in that series. They go to Toronto, they lose 2 out of 3, right? They go to Colorado, and they get, 2 hit and a 2-1 loss and a Chris Sale start. They've blown some Chris Sale starts. They blew a Spencer Schwellenbach start today, very good Schwellenbach start. And the margin for error is a lot smaller to now than it was earlier in the year. Like, yes, you're in a hole. That matters a little bit, but the schedule's a lot harder. The first, heading into this Padres series, Atlanta had played the 23rd toughest schedule in baseball. From this Padres series on through the rest of the year, it is the 7th toughest schedule in baseball. Philly has the 14th toughest. The Mets have the 22nd toughest. So if you want to win, if you want to get into the playoff picture, the Atlanta Braves have to be better against good teams. This weekend showed us there is something missing. People have been talking about the leadership. We have no way of knowing for a fact about the leadership in the clubhouse, but they don't really seem to have that edge ever since Ron Washington left. They need to be better in the guys not being colder more than they're hot. Every baseball player is going to be on and off and streaky and things like that. They've got to be better. The bullpen has to be better. It's just like, this is a situation where the team that we saw this weekend is not a postseason team. And you had your chance in a very weak schedule to open the year to make the case that you were. Now the schedule is going to get a lot tougher. And you have Ronald Acuna Jr. back. You have Spencer Strider back. It is entirely possible that the Braves do it. maybe Ronald Acuna Jr. Being back is the thing the offense needs. He's been great over the weekend. They won 1 out of those 3 games. Maybe Michael Harris needs to bat 9th so that he gets pitches to hit because they want to get him out to not have to face Ronald Acuna Jr. I still don't feel like they would get pitches to hit. You saw that tonight. You can just throw him 3 pitches below the zone. He'll swing at all 3 of them and get out. But something has to get better. We'll see if the off day in Philly and then going into Citizens Bank Park helps them focus. We'll see if that does it. The schedule, I feel like every single Padres series, you have to face Zach Wheeler. I don't know what's going on with this. Strider versus Ranger Suarez on Tuesday. AJ Smith-Shawver versus Zach Wheeler on Wednesday. Chris Sale versus Christopher Sanchez on Thursday. You're in for a tough week. My hope is that the Braves, as bad as they've been against the mediocre teams, I need them to be better against the good teams. Because if you can beat good teams, that will carry over into victories against the bad teams. I need the Braves to be better against the good teams in baseball. We will see what happens. We'll be back with the Postcast on Tuesday. Do us a favor in the meantime. Subscribe to Locked On Braves, wherever you get your podcast. Leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when we talk about all of your Atlanta sports, but especially the Atlanta Braves on Locked On Braves with Jake Mastriani. Until next time, this has been the Braves Postcast.